There's been more money printed in the last 6 months than was printed in the last 200 years of America. So when I understand, when I talk to young people like you, and you got families and all this stuff, it's our money system is toxic. I mean, it's collapsing underneath of us. So that's why I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's why, I said the rich don't work for money. Savers are losers. Your house is not an asset. And of course, all the academic elite, the PhDs who run the publishing houses and all this in New York, they attacked me. This is 25 years ago. They said, you don't know what you're talking about. How can you say your house is not an asset? How can you say the rich don't work for money? Because they're all idiots. They went to school. I went to military school. They went to traditional school. But it all begins, like what you now know, is Keynesian economics is socialist. You can print as much money as you like to solve our problems. And so I could ask you the question, I'm glad to hear that, saying that you're wondering what the future holds, and so do I. But I can tell you right now, we're going communist, Marxist. And you can tell by the economics we teach in our schools. Well, let me go back to the original reason I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Is what does our school teach us about money? Nothing.
Yeah.
Is that an accident? No. And so that's why when I was talking about taxiing up at Norton Air Force Base in this huge Air Force passenger plane, and I see all these hippies yelling and screaming at me, calling me a baby killer, throwing eggs at me. America changed. And then that was UC Berkeley and the whole California system. And then that affected Silicon Valley. It affected our judicial system. There's new evidence that, the FBI was out to get Trump. They tried to impeach him. And I'm not saying he's a good friend of mine. I'm not saying he's innocent. But I'm saying he stepped on something. So all I'm saying is our academic system was hijacked around the same time Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So here comes your generation, and you're going, what's happening? Now, this is not the America I know about. But then that's why I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad in 1997, published it. And I got turned down. I mean, I was called a quack and a weirdo for saying your house is not an asset. Savers are losers, and we are. And the rich don't work for money. But you look at who was criticizing me with all the academics, like the guys who run the Federal Reserve Bank, the guys who work for the government. Anybody who works for the government today is probably a criminal, because you have to be a criminal to work for the government, because you can't tell the truth. What we're doing now is the threat, because ABC, CNN, NBC, and all those, they can't stop us. Twitter can stop us, Facebook can stop us, Parler, and all this stuff, but we'll always find a way around it. And so that's why you hear me talking to guys your age, and they say, well, what about Bitcoin? I said, get as much as you can get, because Bitcoin's outside the system. Gold is outside the system. Silver's outside the system. And so that's why if you read this book here, it's called Fake. Fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. The reason my generation's going to go bust is, I covered it in this book here, is who stole my pension. And the people that are stealing my generation's pension is the Fed, Wall Street, and the Treasury. And they're going to just suck that cash right out of our pensions. And then we'll be begging for AOC to save us. We want universal basic income. We're going to want MMT. We want the government to save us. That's communism. So communism could not take root. So I said, before communism could come in, we had to break the American spirit. We had to break the American spirit. And then they would beg for MMT, modern monetary theory, and UBI, and the check from the government, free education, free medical, It's everything Marx predicted. So I know I sound like a conspiracy guy, but all I am is a guy who went to military school and I studied military economics. We studied different things in military school versus if I had gone to, University of Hawaii or something. So what we studied in military economics was the number of people that socialists killed.
What? Really?
It's amazing. Stalin killed, they estimate 26 million people. Hitler killed, Nazis stands for National Socialist. Get the relationship there. But as military guys, that's what we study. We don't study, pixie dust and, AOC and tending bar and drinking and screwing. We study how many people did those fuckers kill. So when we were in military school, in New York, we studied economics of socialism and capitalism. So capitalists go to war, like I went to war with the Marine Corps to fight against communism. And the reason is, like, when you just go to the numbers, just look at the numbers of people that were murdered by socialists. And you'll get a better picture of what's going on in America today. But exactly as Marx said, before Americans could become Marxists or communists, they had to break the American spirit, the entrepreneurial spirit. So the two of you and I right now, they haven't got us yet. I'm sure they're going to try. They've tried on me a number of times so far, but they're going to try and get our entrepreneurial spirit. So all those guys who are going to troll this video and all that, well, they're all freaking communists. Do you know what I mean? They don't want our freedom to say what we want to say. So I'll say it again, as General Boomer said on November 10th, 2020. Gentlemen, we don't fight for Republicans or Democrats. We fight for the Constitution. Right now, you and I are fighting for the Constitution. We're fighting for the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, and all those other things that make America great. And that's what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and all those criminals, they want to take that away from us. That's what I'm saying. But I've been saying this since I came back from Vietnam. So I'm kind of those whack jobs, out there. And the only thing that saved me was I knew how to get rich. And the moment I got rich, you couldn't mess with me. You can't fuck with me. I don't need a job. I don't work in America. I work all over the world. I'm a free human being. Fuck you, communists.